Welcome back to JBSports. I'm your host, John Burton, and today is Wednesday, so you know it's all about the wrestling Wednesdays. So, today we're going to get into some just the normal Raw, NXT, SmackDown. I might talk about a few things, but I'm not going to try to talk about Money in the Bank too much. I might get into it and just probably blab on about it, but I'm going to try to just stick to the Raw stuff. But I will be doing Money in the Bank predictions, and I will also do Worlds Collide predictions. I'll do all of that, and I might be live streaming it. I'm in a new place, new room. It's better for the streaming. It's better for the streaming. Wow, it's better for recording. It's better for everything. It's kind of my own recording slash living room. I don't know how to say it. It's first thing we'll get into CM Punk promo. CM Punk basically just said it's the summer Punk time. That if he wins Money in the Bank, John Cena. Basically, he just talked about John Cena a lot. Really, he's just saying it's his time, and he's going for John Cena. Next, Stephanie Vaquer versus Ivy Nile versus Liv Morgan for the Women's Money in the Bank qualifier match. This one was actually a banger in my opinion. It was pretty good, and literally all I know is that the right person won. Stephanie Vaquer beats Ivy Nile and Liv Morgan, which I know a lot of people really like Liv Morgan, but personally, she's okay. I like her, but I'm not a super fan of her, if you know what I mean. So she's just like, she's okay. So I like Steph a lot because she's a very good wrestler. Ivy Nile, I think, has a lot of potential, and I would love for her to, take that step up and become that next big women's wrestler, but it just hasn't happened yet. So we'll have to see when that happens for her. But for right now, you have Stephanie winning this and going to the Money in the Bank match, which I will talk about for not too long, but I will just say who's in the match after I'm done these wrap-ups. But Stephanie Vaquer picks up the win and goes into the next phase, which is just Money in the Bank. I will say we want Truth Chance. We're running out. I will talk about that and another release. Well, not release, but what happened. The War Raiders versus the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day actually defeat the War Raiders. Roxanne Perez helped in that matchup. I do think it was an okay match, but the one thing I will say is there is such a distinct difference in the Raw men's tag team division in the SmackDown men's tag team division. Like Raw's here, SmackDown is all the way up here. Like SmackDown is leaps and bounds better than Raw. So Raw, they might have to get some tag teams to kind of help even it out. Because like Raw, you have the War Raiders, you have the Judgment Day who are about to split up, you have the what do you call them? American Made, and you got some teams sprinkled in here and there, but there's no like really distinct team that jumps off the page to me. I mean, New Day, like New Day's the champs right now, but there's no distinct team really, at least to me. So it's just such a big star difference in Raw and then SmackDown. SmackDown is just cooking every other week. They got the Wyatt Six. They have the champs. The why am I blanking right now? The Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns. They have Fraxium, which their new theme I do not like whatsoever. And they just have so many good teams and so many good matches. It just never ends with how good they are. So it's just a real stark difference. Becky Lynch had a pre-taped video, not bad. I'm a big fan of Becky Lynch, so Lara Valkyria promo. They're always fighting. They're always talking. It wasn't the best this time. I think last week's discussion between the two were way better. Stephanie Vaquer and Rhea had a face-to-face. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Uso and Zayn defeated Reed and Breaker via disqualification. I think the match was pretty good, but of course, it was going to end up in disqualification anyway. These groups hate each other. Kairi Sane Sane versus Raquel Rodriguez. Sane wins. Nice to see Sane win two matches in a row, especially 2 weeks in a row. Love to see it. Men's Money in the Bank qualifier, CM Punk versus AJ Styles versus El Grande Americano. You know, listen, I am a big fan of Chad Gable. I love Chad Gable. And we don't know if he's El Grande Americano, but if we're speaking in real life right now, listen, yes, he is amazing at what he does, and he should be in the Money in the Bank qualifier match. But this is his second one. Karrion Kross should have been in this match. I don't care if El Grande Americano was in that match and AJ Styles got beat up and Karrion Kross walks in, or El Grande got beat up and Karrion Kross walks in, or even if CM Punk got beat up and then Karrion Kross came in. I do not care what happened to whoever. Karrion Kross should have been in this match, and he wasn't. That is one thing that has annoyed me a lot recently. Karrion Kross is so big with the crowd. I'm a big fan. Everyone's starting to like Kross more and more, and we just can't get him in a match. He's in the backstage, which he still does amazing because Karrion Kross is really good. But we need to start getting Karrion Kross in these matches. There's still a chance maybe someone gets taken out backstage before the match, and Karrion Kross is like, "Hey, I'm right here. I'm ready for it." That's what I hope happens now. But if he's not in this match, it's going to be annoying. But hopefully, Karrion Kross can get in the spotlight soon because he's just been a backstage segment, and I've been patient. People have been patient, and it's running real thin right now. But of course, El Grande Americano defeats Styles and Punk, and it was a good match, but it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? And then at the end, Seth Rollins' group stands tall over everyone. Next, this is something that's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. NXT first first go around. Miles Bourne defeats Charlie Dembski. Sorry, whoopsie, skipped one. Dark State defeats Chase U. Not surprised. Dark State is the new group. They're going to push them to the moon. Happy that they're getting pushed correctly compared to what normally happens. Next, Miles Bourne defeats Charlie Dempsey in a rounds match. Miles Bourne is a guy that could be very good. A lot of people are saying he's Randy Orton 2.0. Do I think he's going to be exactly Randy Orton? No. Do I think he kind of wrestles the same and kind of has that same build? Yeah. And I think he can be really good, but I don't think he's Randy Orton, if you know what I mean. But I still think he can be very good. Next match, LFG women's winner, Kyrie May defeats Ariana Grace. Tyra. I personally, I don't think she should have won LFG to begin with. It's good that she won this. Very, very nice for her. But personally, I think she's not bad, but I don't think she was the right person to win that. But it is what it is. JC James, NXT Women's Title wins, sparked a brawl. They're fighting because everyone wants a shot at the title. And then guess what? The biggest moment of the night. I don't care what anyone says. Mariah May has shown up to NXT to make it more glamorous. Now, she is getting a new name, is what they say on Twitter or X, and we don't know how similar it's going to be. I think the favorite right now is for it to be Mariah June, or like people have joked about Mariah December. Even people have joked about Mariah Carey. No matter what it is, Mariah May is in WWE. She is in NXT. I do think she was good enough to go straight to the main roster, but I think there was a reason that all these NXT women's wrestlers just got brought up, and it was to make room for Mariah May, who should be the champion very, very soon. Honestly, she is that good. Um, whatever her name is, I think it would be very funny if it was actually Mariah June. I think that would be awesome, but I don't think it will be. It'll be something. I mean, Ricky Saints didn't get his name changed too wildly. It was Ricky Starks to Ricky Saints, so maybe something similar to that. But we'll see what happens. But she is here. she will make NXT more glamorous, as she claims, and I think she will be perfect for NXT and then eventually the main roster. We will see what happens, though, with that. Final match. Oh, sorry. Second to final match of the night. Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Laredo Kid, and Sean Legacy versus Ethan Page, the Vanity Project, in the Vanity Project, and Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, Laredo Kid, and Sean Legacy pick up the win. Dragon Lee wins in his first match back in NXT, and it was pretty good. Nothing too crazy, but nothing terrible. And then finally, big match of the night, not the biggest moment. I think Mariah June, whatever you want to call it. I think that was the biggest moment of the night. But TNA World Champion, which is still insane to say that Trick Williams, an NXT Superstars TNA World Champion Trick Williams defeats Mike Santana. I did think Mike Santana was gonna win this. I thought Trick was just gonna be a quick transitional champ between um, Joe Hendry and then Mike Santana, but there was a little bit of there's whole scuffles around. Trick Williams attacks Elijah, also known as Elias in WWE, also known as, what was his brother's name? Oh, I can't remember right now. It starts with an E or something like that. But I think I don't remember what it was, but Elias is his well-known name, which still sad he's gone. But you know what? Glad he found another company to really sink his teeth into. But AJ Francis and Casey Navarro attack Santana and ruin his chances and lose the match for him. Trick being champion doesn't make me mad. I know some people don't like it too much because they don't think that an NXT superstar should be holding the TNA title. But I think there's a lot of actually NXT superstars who went to TNA to challenge for the championship and lost anyway. So I think you'd rather have a guy like Trick Williams hold it if there's gonna be an NXT champion, the NXT superstar that'll hold the TNA championship. So while you got guys like Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth, sorry, that are very mad about it, I think it's not too terrible, and I don't think you'll hold it for too long. Maybe another feud or two, but I don't think you'll hold up for too long. So I don't know why people are too mad about it. But Trick is a very good NXT superstar, so I wouldn't be too mad at it if I was a TNA superstar. But he does win, and he remains champion. NXT, pretty good show, but I will say Mariah May is still the biggest moment just because it's another AEW superstar jumping ship and going pretty fast into it because she was kind of like not wrestling for a while, but she was on the roster of AEW still. And then recently she went off the roster, and then she pretty quickly, it was like maybe a week or two before she shows up on NXT. So it's kind of like Ricky Saints, but a little slower, you know what I mean? Next, SmackDown. So to start it off, Nia Jax versus Naomi versus Jade Cargill. But to start it off, even before that, Bianca Belair come out to kind of say her piece, and then you just knew it was going to happen. Naomi comes out first to talk to her. She says, "B, come on now, we got to talk about this. Let's talk." And then she flat out just admits to committing crimes, which she didn't actually do it, but it's just funny. She says that she broke into her parents' house to see if she was there, and then she looked at some pictures that she had on the coffee table acting so crazy. And then when Bianca says, "Hey," basically she says, "You're crazy. Get out of my face." She just flat out, which is crazy that she said it, she says, "Listen, B, I don't want to put." It was something like, "You don't want to end up in a wheelchair with your mom," or something like that, which was insane. It's an insane thing to say, like insane. Just admits to a crime and then says, "Hey, you don't want to end up in a wheelchair like your mom." Absolutely brutal. Absolutely insane. I'm sorry, it just is. It's just an insane thing to say. About to get in a little brawl. They're kind of getting each other's face. Naomi's letting her know what's up. And then when Naomi, like, "Jimmy, please, Naomi's acting crazy. Please help someone. Just come out there, try to talk some sense into her, please." But Naomi's going crazy, and I love it. I think this character is working very, very well. I think it's her best character work in WWE to date. So I really like that she's getting this kind of spotlight, and she could be someone who wins Money in the Bank. You never know. But we will continue. Jade Cargill comes out. She attacks Naomi. They're still not done apparently, even after Jade Cargill beat Naomi at WrestleMania. But it was Nia Jax. Nia Jax comes out. She gets in the ring with Jade. And Naomi goes back in, and they finally start the match, which I will say, this match, usually the matches between Jade and Nia Jax have not been good. I think the one last year, I think, was one of the worst matches of the year. And this one was way better, honestly. I think the wrestling this night was very good. Nia Jax, Naomi, and Jade Cargill, they go for probably like 10 minutes, maybe a little longer than that. I don't remember the minute marks, but they had some good moves in there. And then finally, Naomi does pick up the win. It was kind of like a weird roll up. It was kind of they struggled. She struggled to get Nia Jax over, but she eventually did get the roll up pin. And Naomi is going to Money in the Bank, which I'm very happy about. I would have liked Jade. It was Jade or Naomi who I wanted to win it. Nia Jax isn't bad. I just like Jade and Naomi more, really. But I think that Naomi was a very, very good pick, and I think people should be happy about it. Next match, which I believe is R-Truth's last match of his WWE career because she has been released. R-Truth versus JC Mateo, which still a funny name, but it was kind of like R-Truth was just kind of talking a little smack. Yeah, I mean he wasn't doing too crazy, but he challenged JC to a match, and then it was pretty easy. Mateo just beats him. R-Truth, thank you very much. I will say some more on him later. Los Garza versus Javon Evans and Ray Phoenix. I think this match was pretty good. Some people were mad about it. I don't think you really should be mad. Like they were mad that Javon Evans lost his first match on SmackDown, but he hasn't been called up yet. Ethan Page interfered in the match, so I don't think you should be that mad that they lost because he was directly interfered by Ethan Page. So I think you should just be like, you know what? It was a really, really good match. And, Los Garza picks up the win for the first time in forever. Next match was Zelina Vega versus Alba Fire. I believe Chelsea Green, now she is in a mask. She has her nose is broken. You could see it, and she can't wrestle right now. She wanted Zelina Vega to get some repercussions for her actions and breaking her nose, but SmackDown GM Nick Aldis says, no, 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 we're not doing that. So Alba Fire says she'll step up and do something about it, and she didn't. Zelina Vega won. Wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't the most amazing thing. So next, Jacob Fatu versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes, and I am so happy that Andrade won this match. I've been a big fan of Andrade for a while now. His first run in WWE, was a huge fan. Loved him as the U.S. champ. I think he had some really great work, and I don't think he really got his WrestleMania moment with that U.S. championship because when he had it at WrestleMania or won it, I think something like that. I think he won at WrestleMania. It wasn't in front of a crowd, so he never got his WrestleMania moment, so I'm hoping soon maybe he can get a mid-card title, something like that. Money in the Bank, I don't think he will, but if he got it, it would be pretty cool, and he can have some moments that he didn't get to have in his first run. But I'm very happy he won. It was a very, very nice match, very fun to watch. Face-to-face, Rhodes versus Cena, basically, and, Cody came. I mean, sorry, Cody, he was already out. Jay was out there, and Logan was out there, too. And, they started talking for a bit. John Cena kind of just brushed him off, said, you're not important enough for me to care about, brawling with you. And then Logan was kind of pushing him like, hey, why don't we brawl then? Let's show them what we're made of. And Cena said no. And then he pushed Cena, and Cena got annoyed by this. He's like, all right. He got in Cody and Logan's face like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And then Cody said something I'm not gonna say just because I don't think it's probably the best for me to say on YouTube, but it was a very funny line, and it had to do with the Peacemaker, which John Cena's show. But and also LA Knight just made fun of people saying that they were punching their ticket. He says that it's overused. Well, the announcers overuse it, and he had a nice promo. So, pretty good show, and I think that WWE's been pretty good. A lot of people are mad about some things. I think WWE is still pretty good, and I think sometimes people like to complain about things, but it is what it is. Everybody has their own opinions, and you know what? Everyone has a right to their opinion. Now, going into something that's opinionated, we're going to go talk about some releases recently in WWE, specifically R-Truth first, and then I'll get into Carlito. Actually, no, I'll get into Carlito first and then R-Truth, because Carlito's a little shorter talking point. Carlito, he's been very funny in the Judgment Day, and he's been very good in his time in this run of WWE. Hasn't been in many matches, but he's been great for the Judgment Day, and he's been a funny guy, funny wrestler. You know what I mean. The reason that I think this one hurts, it shouldn't hurt as much, is because when the Judgment Day's over, and I think that'll be very soon, Carlito will have nothing to go to, and you could say that what, they could keep Carlito till that happens, but I don't think he is that I don't think he's that important in the Judgment Day storyline. I really do think he's just there to be funny. He's also been literally getting obliterated by people. Like Braun Breaker has obliterated him the last few weeks. You have Penta obliterating him. Like he's just in there for jokes. So I don't think he's been as important as Truth. And I love Carlito. I thank him for his time, but I think that one should hurt less because literally his time lasting wasn't the Judgment Day, and it's going to be over very soon. Next person, it was R-Truth, which this one hurts more. R-Truth, I love him. He was one of the first people I saw in a WWE show, and I think he's been brilliant in his career. This one does hurt, and I'm pretty sure he wasn't released. They just wouldn't be renewing his contract or something. And I think I might have heard a rumor that they offered him a contract, but it was for much lower. And mostly it's because Truth didn't really wrestle that much. I mean, yeah, that match with John Cena was fun, but a lot of the time it was just squash matches, and he didn't get much offense in. And I I love Truth. He is one of the funniest wrestlers I've seen in my life. And I think many people will share that same sentiment for R-Truth. And I will forever be grateful for being able to witness R-Truth. He has been amazing. He has been really funny. And this does hurt a little bit. And I don't think this is the end of joking characters. I think that R-Truth is older. I think they weren't willing to pay as much for an older Truth that probably would have been transferring only to backstage segments and funny moments and maybe a squash match here and there. Do I think that they should have ended it? No, I think they probably should have gave Truth more money or the same amount of money for him to come back. But it's just not working with them. I do think they're going to introduce some new characters for jokes. I think there's a few of them that still are here that can probably go in the spotlight. There's some people in NXT who are pretty funny that can move up, but I don't think it's the end of the joking character. And I do think it's really sad that R-Truth has gone because R-Truth is a part of a lot of people's childhood. He was one of the funniest people in WWE. He can make anyone break. Sorry about the alarm, the sirens if you hear them. He can make anyone break. He's been a part of so many legendary segments, so many voice bits, so many memes in WWE, and I will forever love and miss R-Truth in WWE. But sometimes it just gets to a point where people just got to go, and I don't think it was R-Truth's point, but to WWE it was. So it sucks that he's gone, and it sucks that Carlito gone, but It's just what WWE wanted, and it's just what happens. And I do think joking characters will come back, but it does suck. I'm not gonna say that. Oh, it's totally fine to let Truth go. It does absolutely suck, but they did it. It's over now, and maybe Truth will come back sometime. Maybe he'll be back eventually, but I do think he'll go to TNA and have a run there, and I think he'll be great. But we'll move on. I have some of the Money in the Bank matches here to talk about. Men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. I do think El Grande won't be in this match just because I really hope uh, Killer Cross, Carrying Cross, is able to beat someone up a little bit and make his way into it. I don't think it will happen, but I hope it will happen. I'm not going to say any winner yet because I want to wait till my prediction video, which will be my first year of prediction videos. Will be this one, I think. Yeah, because my first prediction video was Money in the Bank. Next one, women's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Naomi. This one is highlighted by the next phase of women's wrestlers. You have some of the more prominent and older wrestlers like Naomi, Alexa Bliss, and I guess Rhea Ripley kind of fits there, but she hasn't been on the main roster for too many years. But you get what I mean, kind of the more established. And then the newcomers, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, and Roxanne Perez. And I think it's so amazing what Triple H has been able to do with these younger women's wrestlers and really get them in the spotlight fast and really buff this women's division because I do think we're heading into the best, probably the best era of women's wrestling ever. We're not in it yet. I don't think that it's there yet. I think it has the potential to be the best women's era in WWE history very soon with all these women's wrestlers. You know, Mariah May coming over from AEW, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Roxanne Perez, and some of the other women's wrestlers in NXT. You know, Rhea Ripley being here, Bianca, like it's just so good, and I think it's just going to get even better and better, and we're going to finally, hopefully, have a women's division where it's multiple women that are in the title scene and not like 3 or 4. You know what I mean? Because there's not too many in it right now. And those are the Money in the Bank ladder matches so far. I think Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria have a match, and we'll start to see how the rest of it kind of shapes out for the rest of the wrestlers. Let me see if there's any. Oh well, of course, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Logan Paul. I think that'll be a good match. Men's ladder match, women's ladder match. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. And for right now, there's probably gonna be one more match. I think maybe we'll see where it goes though, because there's no men's um, heavyweight or WWE championship because they're in a tag team match against each other. So we'll see. Maybe someone gets cashed in on, but you never know. We'll see where it goes on from there. But so to wrap this episode up, we've gone over Raw, NXT, SmackDown results, mainly highlighting some matches, some promos, and the major thing, Mariah May joining WWE and specifically NXT. Then we went into the sad news of R-Truth and Carlito being released or just running their contract out, whatever one it actually is. It's been back and forth online, but still very sad. And then we finished it off talking about Money in the Bank briefly, so I don't spoil who I think will win. And just like in another quick, just briefly conversation about how I think we're going to go into the best era of women's wrestling ever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Stay tuned. If I stream I might stream the finals, and I might stream the Money in the Bank and Worlds Collide pay-per-view. So stay tuned for that. Like I said, have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. Stay tuned for Friday. Stay tuned for live streams, and I will see you next time.